Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Daily Shooter, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Sightmark. The Sightmark Mini Shot A-Spec M3, a surprisingly good little reflex sight that'll fit on your subcompact pistol. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's go and talk about this little optic right here. Basically, what you're looking at is a sub $200 micro reflex sight that's cut for the Shield RMS-c. Now, the Shield RMS-c, if you ask me, should be the standard for subcompact pistols because right now it's the most popular cut out there. So if companies are going to be making red dots, I think they should make red dots that will fit in the most popular cut. Just like I think the RMR cut should be the most popular cut for full size and even compact slides. Now, this thing will not fit in an RMR cut because it's too small, so obviously that's not going to work out. But the RMS-c is already set up for a lot of popular pistols. Smith & Wesson Shield, obviously you can see it here on the Canik TP9 Elite SC. It will fit on like a 365 and a bunch of different other brands right out of the box. You're going to be able to mount this thing directly to it. Plus, it also comes with a low Picatinny mount. So if you wanted to put it on something like a shotgun or an AK, you can go ahead and you can mount it to that as well. And I think it would work out just fine for that. This thing has proven to be a pretty tough little optic, and it feels really sturdy as well. I've done a lot of shooting with it. It's held up really well. Haven't had any durability issues whatsoever. I mean, this thing's been fantastic, and I think it's a really good value as well. Now, in full transparency, Sightmark did send me this optic to review for you guys. I'm not making any money on the back end. They didn't send me any money. They just said, hey, here's the optic, go ahead and review it. So with that in mind, and you guys know in the full details there, let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about it. So basically, this thing has a 3 MOA dot. I'm not sure if I can get it on camera here, but it does have a very nice 3 MOA dot. It's very clean, very crisp. It does bloom a little bit with my astigmatism, and I know that comes up a lot because that's kind of a topic of conversation on this channel. It does bloom a little bit with my astigmatism, but not bad enough to where it's going to be distracting at all. So that 3 MOA dot is nice. It's kind of a nice mix. I think that 3 MOA is kind of where I would tend to stay when it comes to optics that I'm going to have on a pistol. I don't like to go super small like a 2 or 1 MOA dot, but I also don't like dots that are so big like a 6 or 7 MOA dot. To me, 3 is right where I want to be. It's big enough where I can find it very fast in the window, but at the same time, it's small enough where it's not going to be covering up a bunch of my target, making it already difficult to see through such a little window because this does have a very small window. Most things that are going to be cut for your RMS-c are going to be fairly small, but you can kind of get an idea of the sight picture right there so you can see what it looks like. Now, this I have noticed that because of its size and how it sits, does allow me to co-witness with the sights that are currently on there, and these are not suppressor height sights. However, on the optic itself, there are these notches right here. So if for some reason you're not able to co-witness, at least you have these notches that you can use to line up with the front sight. So if for some reason this sits a little bit too high, maybe you have a mounting plate or an MOS type system where it's going to be sitting up a little bit higher, you can use this as a center point for that front sight, and I thought that was a pretty good idea right there as well. So sits in there really nice. It fits in the cut nice and tight, doesn't go anywhere. Basically 2 screws located right there, and then that cut in the back. So this one right here is actually an auto adjusting version. Here's the thing with auto adjusting. I typically do not like auto adjusting. This is probably only one of 3 auto adjusting optics that I have ever tried that actually works for me, and that's because they have the brightness set up right on this thing. Okay, so let's go and talk about some other tech specs and features here. This is a very lightweight, small, compact reflex sight. It comes in at only 0.7 ounces. So if you're worried about adding weight to your current setup, maybe you like the way that it's lightweight and you don't want to mess with that, this really isn't going to add much to it at only 0.7 ounces. So I think that's fantastic. It also uses a very popular battery, the CR2032, which you can find just about anywhere. Now the battery is going to be located underneath, so you're going to have to remove the optic when you want to change the battery, but you do have a battery life up to, I think it's 4 years. So you have 4 years of battery life on this thing, and that's fantastic, especially for an always on auto adjusting optic. 4 years should be plenty of time. What I would do is just in 2 years, just to be on the safe side, just go ahead and change it out. I typically change mine out every 1 to 2 years anyway, just to keep a nice fresh battery in there should I need it. But if you forget, a few years down the line, you should be just fine. Now this is waterproof and shockproof, and it does have some pretty nice glass. The glass is clear all the way around. There's no blind spots where the red dot kind of disappears or starts to fade or becomes unclear as it travels around the window. Everything looks good there. You never lose it once. It does have a slight green tint to it, which you should be aware of, but the green tint's really not all that bad. As a matter of fact, it's a lot lighter than some of the others that I've seen out there, and it's much less lighter than, let's say, a Trijicon RMR. So the glass does look really nice, and it seems like a pretty tough optic. I haven't reviewed too many things from Sightmark in the past. I know about Sightmark and I know a lot of stuff that they offer. And for people that are on a serious budget, they do offer things that will get you into the red dot game, which I think is always good. I never look down on that. If people can't afford anything that's more than $100, I think that Sightmark offers something for you. And this right here, I think is a winner. I think that it's a pretty good little optic, especially for the price point. It seems to be tough and durable. I've used it quite a bit, never lost my zero. I'm hitting my target every single time with this. And again, I think it's a great optic with a great cut that'll fit on a lot of different pistols and something worth looking at. So definitely check it out, the Sightmark Mini Shot A-Spec M3. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and have a great day.